Welcome to the podcast, The Road to Restoration. I'm Pastor Sergio de Mora. I'm so grateful that you're joining me today. Today, I am doing the final episode of the 11 Tests of a Leader podcast series. If you've been following me, you know that every one of these tests is intense. And today, I'm not sure where you are on the road to restoration. If you've fallen off the road, maybe you're weary of being on the road, or maybe you need to just get on the road and stay on the road. I want to encourage you, we're all in a process of restoration in some form or another in our life. I'm not sure where you find yourself on your leadership continuum. If you're starting off as a leader, maybe you've been a leader for a while, or maybe you're just tired of being a leader. Because that happens. You could become weary of being a leader. And if you have been tracking with me, like I said earlier, there are moments in a leader's life that if you don't pass these tests, you'll have to take the test over again. And ultimately, as a leader, you want to pass tests so that your influence can expand. All leadership expansion happens when we pass tests. I've had to learn that. Oftentimes, I've wanted to expand in leadership, expand in influence, but there's always a test. Today, I want to finish the 11th test of a leader by talking about the test of focus. Whoa, it's so easy to be all over the place as a leader, especially when you're pursuing a dream, vision, a goal, you're trying to get results. One of the most difficult things about a leader is to stay focused. If you suffer from ADHD, you know what I mean. If you're a type A personality, you know what I mean. Sometimes as a leader, you can be all over the place. You start with the goal. The goal makes, there's diversions, there's tests, there's detours, and you just lose focus. Well, I believe this test is a primary test because it can really define your leadership, especially the longevity of your leadership. Because anyone could start. It's who could finish. And it's about finishing well. Today, I want to read to you from the book of Judges, chapter 8. It says, so Gideon brought the people down to the water. Listen to what it says. And the Lord said to Gideon, this is Judges chapter 7, verse 5 and 6. Everyone who laps from the water with his tongue as a dog laps, you shall set apart by himself. Likewise, everyone who gets down on his knees to drink. He says, and the number of those who lapped, putting their hand to their mouth, was 300 men. So God said to Gideon, you have too many men in your team. I want to reduce them down to 300. But the way we're going to do it is because everyone was exhausted. Everyone was tired. And they came to water. And he said, everyone that laps with their tongue and brings the water up to their mouth and laps with their tongue and still keeps their eyes forward, those are the 300 I want you to keep. But the rest of them, the ones that just give themselves over to the water, forget their focus, I want you to separate them. Wow. Look at what God's saying. He says, Gideon, I need you to decide which leaders are most focused. Oftentimes, the leaders that you start with aren't the leaders that you finish with. And it's unfortunate. I've never met a leader who starts an organization, a business, a church, who doesn't start with the idea, with the thought that those who start with me will finish with me. The truth is, the one defining factor that'll determine who stays, who goes, who can grow, who has to go back, is the ones who lose focus. So I want to talk to you about this. I've had to learn over the years. I've been leading for over 30 years. In over 30 years, I've had to learn, if there is one thing you can't give up, it's your focus. And so let me talk to you about how to pass the test of focus. And I hope one of these thoughts will be for you. Because if there is one thing you have to be known for as a leader, is that you're focused. So number one, the first thing that'll always fight your focus, are you ready? Is your weakness. Weaknesses will always attack your focus. See, the Bible says that the men came and they were weak. they were tired, they were thirsty. And so they approached the water as an end all. And their weakness, their desire for water caused them to lose their focus, take their eyes off the prize. So let me ask you this. What are you weak for? What are you thirsty for? What do you have a longing for? What is that area of weakness? Is your body weak? Are you mentally weak? Are you emotionally weak? Are you tired of dealing with people? Whatever weakness is in our life is what's going to break the focus of our life. Remember this. Leaders failed because of broken focus. And the weaknesses in our life are the things that cause us to take our eyes off of the dream, the vision, the goal in our life. It's usually when you're weak is when you will make the weakest decisions. It's usually when you're weak where you're most vulnerable. So let me share this with you. If we're going to pass the test of focus, watch your weakness. Watch what's making you feel weak. Because whatever makes you feel weak is going to weaken your focus. The second thing I've learned, and then we see it in the story, that's going to cause you to fail the test of focus, not just weakness, but weariness. Sometimes the journey takes longer than you think. In fact, it really is true. Every great accomplishment in my life always took longer than I thought. And the frustration is that in the weariness of time, you lose your focus. Not only your weakness, but you become weary. You literally feel like it's taking too long. Maybe you've started up a business and you're not breaking into profit yet. You're still in the red and you're not in the black yet. Or maybe you're growing an organization and you're not seeing the results with people. You're not having the traction or influence that you thought you should have. Or maybe you're weary because you still haven't developed the team, the right team, and you're frustrated and your focus is off. So this is what happens when you're weary, is that when you're weary, you begin to focus on instant gratification instead of delayed gratification. You focus on what do you want now instead of focusing on what should I be looking to. So what happens is you start focusing on what you're going through and you stop focusing on what you're going to. Okay, let me say that again. Whenever you're weary, you're going to break focus because why? Because you focus on what you're going through instead of what you're going to. But if I can get you to make the decision to focus more on what you're going to than what you're going through, you'll pass the test of focus. And this is the third one. And this quite possibly could be the most difficult on passing the test of focus. Is it people that you start with or people that you don't finish with? Woo. The Bible tells us that God says to Gideon, the 300 men that passed the test, those are the 300 you're going to go forward with. Woo. One of the things that'll break your focus as a leader is the people that have left you. The people that you thought should stay with you. The people that you thought would pass the test. Remember, Gideon started with thousands, but he ended up with hundreds. And this is something that every leader has to learn, is that you have to pass the test of focus by letting people leave who no longer want to stay. Yeah. Think of it like this. When you go up an elevator, like you're called to go to the 20th floor. Everybody gets on the elevator at the first floor. By the time you get to the 5th floor, 2 people get off. By the time you get to the 10th floor, 3 people get off. But by the time you get to the 13th floor, 6 people jump on. You get to the 15th floor, 8 people leave. And you're thinking, what is happening? The closer I get to my goal, people leave, people are coming on, and you're realizing by the time you get to the 20th floor, you have about 5 people with you. And you're thinking, why is it like that? And the reason why is that not everybody that can start with you can finish with you. Because if others aren't focused with you, they can't take you into the future. And so today, I want to remind you, whoever has left you was not called to go where you're going. And wherever you're going is not, I hate to say this because it's going to hurt. Wherever you're going, whoever left you, it's because they're not called to go where you're going. And also, this hurts, but it's true. You don't need them where you're going. But I love them. I grew up with them. They've always been around me. They were a comfort to me. And that could be the very reason why God is saying, separate them. Don't break your focus. Your focus and your future is more important than where you've been. Whew. So my hope and prayer is that you'll pass the test of focus. And I hope one of these thoughts is going to help you as you pass this test. I'm Pastor Sergio de Mora. Thank you for being part of the 11 episodes of the 11 Tests of a Leader. If you haven't seen them all, go back, revisit them, find which test has your name on it. And today, if you know someone that's struggling with this test, share, comment, make sure that you subscribe, because these tests, one of them has your name on it. And I want to encourage you to pass the test, because your future is worth passing the test. God bless you.